don't ever let my like shit I yell on the race course like be discouraging. But you gotta just show them that you're not gonna be their donkey. Yeah, exactly. And like let the wheel. I will go to the back of this motherfucking pack. I got teammates here, and I know I can float up to the front again on the next lap. Yeah,
yep, Tyson, you summed it up pretty well. This is the race recap from Pacific Raceways on May 18th, Cat 4-5 field. This is the LaunchPad Gene Johnson cycling team Devo squad. It's a lot of names. Racing tonight, we got Tyson, who recently broke his collarbone, Ray, Randy, Max, Andy, and myself tonight. Me, Andy, and Randy we're racing doubles tonight. So this is the first race of the evening. So it's all downhill from here. It's a points race. So yeah, each lap the first two riders get points, and they end the night. The team with the most points wins the event. However, it still matters where you place the finish line for as far as USA cycling goes. So due to the light rain at the beginning, they opened up the escape route, made it a little more interesting. So course is slightly longer. We got the descent and a little bit of a climb. And we'll see that comes into play as far as my mistakes go. First lap is neutral. And as you can see, my plan was to start at the back or middle, save energy for a bit. I have a tendency to go to the front and make a lot of useless attacks, hence the name of this channel. And already that's starting. Yeah, this descent from the escape route, I just pick up speed and find myself right on the front. At this time, I am not really aware how big of a mistake this is and how often I'm going to keep doing it. So when we got to the start-finish line that Ray and I would be at the front, and we could actually then start making a nice strong lap to get a couple points. And here's where I start realizing I'm underestimated how difficult a points race is going to be and how fast and how little time there is to recover. So already those two riders, they have gotten away. I think we're doing something good right now. I think Ray and I will be able to bring them back. And in reality, the only thing we are doing right now is doing all the work for the rest of the peloton. Those two riders, so far away, there's no chance that just Ray and I alone doing work is going to bring them back. And that's going to be a theme for this whole evening again. At this point, you should have realized it's a wasted effort. We're just not accomplishing anything. We should have let someone else do the work. As we finish the first turn of the first point scoring lap, we all form up, and I hope we could close this gap down. So we close the gap on these two riders towards the end of the lap. But as you can see, the rest of the field who didn't have to do that work. They reached the top of the hill, they saved energy. Here comes Max. I start realizing that it's too late for this lap also. So I slot in. Come up on the second lap of chasing these two riders down. And it's still mostly Ray and I doing lots of that work. I mean, just a few wheels back, there's a whole bunch of eager riders. They want points too. Ray and I should have been drifting back and let some of the other teams take over. As we go down this descent, about to lose my rear camera due to that nice little divot right in the middle of the course. It's hard to see because it's got new pavement, but it's a pretty violent bump, as Peter knows, and it just snaps the plastic mount of my GoPro. But luckily, I had a couple zip ties holding the GoPro onto the seat rails, and I have a metal GoPro mount on order. And as Tyson came by, he pretty much told me the mistake I was doing, where I'm keeping the Peloton fast, but we're doing all the work. And just like that, those two riders I've been chasing down for about a lap and a half, they realize they're done and they take a break, but I'm absolutely exhausted now. And as a result, I don't have any energy to counterattack. So what's going through my head now is I'm in a good spot for a sprint. I'm trying to recover a bit, but my heart rate's still pretty high, mid 170s. Compared to the earlier laps, I'm in a better position. Unfortunately, I haven't recovered enough to actually put up a useful sprint. See Ray, try to form a bit of a lead out, him and Randy. Doesn't quite work out. Isaac Smart, he hops on my wheel, uses me as a lead out. I see Randy come to my right, and in the process bump elbows with Isaac, causing me to slow down a bit. At least Randy got second on that one. There's a bit of a pattern that took me way too long to figure out. On the descent, I start gaining on people, and rather than grabbing brakes, I'm thinking, all right, that's free speed. And I just, I use that speed, carry a bunch of momentum into the climb, and just kind of rocket up that thing. However, when we get to the top, every lap, the whole group just slows down as we hit the headwind, and it's kind of a long turn, and everyone's getting ready for that sprint. In hindsight, what I should be doing is not putting that much work up going in the climb. Yeah, I could use that speed, but as I get into the climb, there's really there's no point. The only thing I'm doing is getting to the front of the group during the last turn, which really isn't the best for the way this race keeps playing out, where we slow down during the turn, everyone forms up, and we all sprint for the line. So as you see what happens, I spent a lot of energy climbing up that hill. That was unnecessary. I went to the front of the pack, only to fall back. In hindsight, it would have been smarter just to, do tempo up that climb. I probably would have been the exact same wheel, and I wouldn't have burned a match. Unfortunately, though, I wasted energy on that climb. And doing this mistake again, and look at that. I find myself at the bottom of the hill, ton of speed, and I just attack the uphill section, which is just pointless. Spent a lot of energy climbing up that hill. It was unnecessary. Should have just gone up at an easier pace, conserved some energy, and I probably would have been in this exact position by the end of the climb. On the descent, and what do? I surge forward. Only thing I'm doing is tire my legs out. I really just should have taken that descent and the climb slow, followed someone else's wheel. Because by the time I get up to the front, I'm going to be too exhausted. I don't know it yet, but it'll happen. I'm getting a little bit better. I'm getting to the right position. I'm getting to the right spot at the right time of the course. Unfortunately, though, I am wasting energy rocketing up that climb. So by the time I get here, I can't respond with anything. And look, there goes that liquid Velo guy. He didn't kill himself going up the climb, and he was able to bridge that gap. Didn't bring anybody with him. So right now, I'm thinking to myself, this is what it's like to have another team close the gap. It's much nicer. Should have been doing this more often. Well, then look at my heart rate. I was 170 before. We were able to close the gap. My heart rate's 157. Much smarter racing. Come along, Tyson. He gives me some more advice.
You're gonna go bridge. Don't tell the field.
Yeah.
I won't say anything. But I should. You can contribute to the effort. You don't have the boy up there.
That's Tyson talking to Apex. Tyson telling me not to accelerate on this descent and climb again. I think this lap I actually hit brake just to make sure I didn't just find myself at the front. And it's even hard. And right now in this descent, it's a little mentally hard to see how many riders are ahead. And I'm just thinking, oh, but they're going to get away. But they slow down on the climb. And look at that. I even hit brake, and I'm still catching up to some of them. I just have to trust that they're going to slow down as they get in the climb on the top of the hill. Trying to take this hill a little bit easier than before. So normally at this point, every other lap I've been pretty much right on the front, only to get passed by everyone at the top of the hill and be in this exact position. So why kill myself on the climb to get at the top first, only then to immediately get swarmed and be in the same spot? It's way better to ride mid-pack for this point. Look at my heart rate, 160 going up the hill versus before it was close to 180. That's a big difference. We have a bit of a lead out. Looking good. Max is up front. I'm able to put out a bit of a sprint only because I was able to rest going up the hill and around the turn. Fortunately, it doesn't amount to anything. There goes Isaac. I missed it by a foot. Another third place finish. If only I didn't waste energy earlier in the race, I might have been able to get second on that. That's Isaac Liquid Veil doing that super tuck out front. And look at that. For once, he is out front rather than riding behind our wheels, only to attack us over the top on the straight. Look at my heart rate right now. 140 beats per minute. And I am in the same spot that I'm in when I go up this hill hard. All right, this is like the lowest heart rate I've had the whole race. But I didn't. Talking to Ray right now. Ray saying he doesn't have a sprint left in him. I think I glanced down at my heart rate and realized, like, okay, if he doesn't, my heart rate's telling me I've got something. He's gonna try to lead me out here. We're in a decent position. Again, it'd probably be better if Ray and I didn't spend the whole front half or first half of the race wasting energy. And God, I hope I don't sprint. I have no lead out here. I've got a gap, and I've got two strong sprinters in front of me. I hope I don't do something stupid. Look at that. Hey, guys, I think I've learned something. I didn't do 900 watts to get third place again. Tyson giving me some good advice right now. He's telling me, recover on that descent. When I was in this position early in the race, I was trying hard. Pushing 24 to 28 miles an hour, putting a lot of work in. Now look, I get to the front, I ease off, we're doing 19 miles an hour. No one's attacking. They're waiting for someone else to be the Leroy Jenkins and do massive pulls. Look how much easier this race could have been if I rode like this at the beginning. Alright, Tyson's reminding me not to close the gap. Trying to keep that gap steady. We got Andy up there too. Randy came back from his attempt. And now I'm just making sure no one contests it for Andy. No. Maybe at the beginning of the race, I would have hopped on that guy's wheel and just probably brought up another 5 sprinters. But right now I'm not. I'm trusting that Andy's got this. I don't know if Andy took this lap. But at least I didn't do anything dumb like bring Isaac up to him. We're on the last lap now. I am trying to let other people close this gap. I want to still stay in a good position. But I want to make sure I get to the top of that hill, rested, and ready to actually do something for the end. Yeah, just made a poll, and look at it. We all just no one wants to do it. It's amazing how different this race goes when I'm not out front doing dumb stuff. I think I confused Isaac. He doesn't know who to follow now. Whew. Right, hit that bump. We got. I'm telling Randy that Andy's up there. He's a good sprinter. By this point, third lap Jake would have gone to the top of that hill, bringing the whole peloton. Hop on Tyson's wheel. Tyson closes down this gap, gets me in good position, and now I start looking ahead. I realize we actually have a pretty good setup now. We got Andy, a great sprinter, Ray, and Tyson. I gotta get on Tyson's wheel now. I'm gonna ask Andy how he's feeling. Says good. I got on Tyson's wheel. I tell him to go. I tell Ray to hop on. And this is a great setup we have going. Tell Tyson to go. As soon as he starts to fade, all right. I don't know where Andy is, so I go for it. And just now I see Ray. Ray's got third. Thought I got fourth. Turned out probably missed it by a foot. I think the last 3 laps I raced much smarter. Last lap we had a good setup for our lead out. Ray came through right when it counted. Alright, that's it for race number 1. Let's see how I do in race number 2.